Welcome to a cosmic energetic update with multidimensional energy specialist RaquelSpencer.
Well, hello everyone, this is Raquel. I want to welcome you to today's activation. It is the solstice energies that we are in. We are in the solstice, that is the summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it is the winter solstice going into the Southern Hemisphere. But we are definitely within the energies. The solstice is actually starting on the 20th, and in different reports, they say the 20th, the 21st, depending upon which website you go to. But we know that the energies start pulling in about 3 days before and 3 days after. And we're also moving into a full moon. The full moon is tomorrow, the 20th, and that is in Sagittarius and Gemini. And we are aligned with the galactic center with this particular solstice and where we are in the precessions of the equinoxes and solstice. So it's a very, very powerful time right now as we're working with the solstice energy and what that means for us as we move into different aspects of our personality, how that interfaces with our conscious, our subconscious, our higher conscious aspects of ourselves, and how that plays out into our physical reality. We have been moving into 2016, and we're now hitting the center point of this year, 2016, which stepped us into some beautiful new energies. 2016 as a year is actually a 9. It is completion. It is moving us through the cycles once again. And of course, this cycle runs every 9 years. But this new energy that we stepped into at the beginning of the year, actually, it started in December of 2015 with particular alignments that came on board. And then we moved into literally the calendar year in January and had many planetary alignments, 5 planets align the first week in January. And this has really opened up a new portal that we continue to move into this energy of the divine feminine. And as we move into the new, of course, cycles within cycles within cycles, there is completion. And 2016 is truly a year of completion, preparing us to move into the next one, which will, once again, another cycle of 9 years before we hit the completion energy again. But it is in a new octave. It's in a new frequency. It's in a new portal of light. And so as we move into this energy and as we sit in the frequencies right now with the galactic alignment and the solstice energy coming in, there's been so much happening and so much preparation. I know many of my clients have spoken of intensified energies, intensified emotions, and that they feel like they're clearing very, very deeply, and not only for themselves, but for humanity as well. It feels bigger than just themselves. It feels more planetary and humanitarian in nature. And that's the way it should be, as we are truly advocates, we are light warriors, we are forerunners, and we are setting the patterns and working diligently, individually and as a collective whole, to assist humanity with moving through and clearing lower understandings, lower thought forms, lower ways of being. Because moving into higher levels of consciousness is truly about how we relate to our outer world. And as we continue to upshift individually, as we move into higher levels of consciousness, How do we perceive the world, and how does the world interact with us? It is the consciousness that we hold. It is the vibration and light quotient that we hold that actually determines our outer reality. And as we shift on the inner, the outer reality has to change with us. And for many, that means the outer world has to break. Certain patterns, ways of being, certain foundational pieces of our life tend to break when we really move octaves, when we move into higher levels of frequency, because you cannot do the same thing over and over and expect a change. And as you go through these emotional clearings and these upgrades to your divine vehicle, which is your body for enlightenment in this reality, the inner shifts begin to play out in the outer world. And for many of us, depending upon where you are in the world, I mean, there's always constant change. There's always things that are happening that are questionable. We look at the outer world and we go, why? How is this a reflection of consciousness changing? But we know that the systems that are in place, the ways that we have interfaced in the world as a conscious humanity have to change. And so the systems, the patterns, the ways that we have worked in the world have to change. And so as we continue on this path of awakening, as we continue to do the inner work, it allows for that energetic platform to expand not only from our own individual matrix, but to gather together with conscious beings around the planet to enhance this blueprint, enhance this light grid system that will facilitate the breaks in patterns that need to happen for real change to occur. And so we look at the micro and the macro. You know, here we are in this small little expression in our reality. It's our own center of our own universe as we go through this individualized expression of source. We are the micro to the macro, to the universe, to the higher expressions, to the higher frequencies, to the universal frequencies. And on the planetary level, we are an individual. But as we also know, the macro is the collective. It is the collective of humanity. And so as we interface and shift and change our micro, it affects the macro. And it is important for us to understand that as we go through these continuous evolutions, these continuous upshifts in our matrix, in the energy, in the way that the galactic forces of light and codes of light continue to come in. It is a cycle within a cycle within a cycle. And as we move through these cycles and step into the next oscillation of light, the next level, sometimes we feel as if we're going through the same things over and over again. It's like, didn't we clear that? Isn't it? Why do I have to have these emotions again? And it is, again, a deeper level. It is the micro helping the macro. Sometimes it's very deep and personal patterns that we are shifting. And many times it is on a collective humanitarian level that we are facilitating the change. And so you need to step into an understanding when we go through these really intense times and what seems like more frequently, and it seems like more intensely, that we are the light warriors. We are the ones who said yes, who stepped in to do this work. And if it were simple, if it were easy, if it were a piece of cake, anyone would have been able to do it. And this is not to stroke your ego. This is not to make you feel like you're greater than. What this is to remind you that you truly are a warrior, and we knew that it would be cycle upon cycle upon cycle, layer upon layer of clearing and upgrading, not only for ourselves, but for humanity in this amazing time in consciousness. And so as you go through these intensified experiences and you go back into the, oh my gosh, aren't we through with this yet? Haven't I cleared this level yet? Aren't we done? And I hear this a lot. Aren't we done? I'm so tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And what you need to realize is it's the next layer. It's the next level. And you need to really step into these processes and realize, is this mine? Is this humanity? Is this the collective? And you need to be able to honestly say when it's your stuff and when it's really the collective that you're clearing for. And it's, oftentimes it's a little of both. Sometimes it's much more personal, and we know it's our own crap. We know it's our own stuff we're dealing with, and we got to move through. And then at other times we know that no, we're holding it for the greater good, for humanity as a whole, for the collective and mass consciousness on the planet. And so as we move into this solstice energy and this full moon, of course, we've got the goddess energy coming in once again very, very strongly. And I think many of you may have noticed the intensity of the full moon feelings or emotions since the beginning of the year. The full moons have taken on almost a new energy themselves, a new powerful energy that is much more, it seems more nurturing to me as we move into these cycles of deeper depth of emotion and clearing. And so allow the goddess energy, allow that lunar energy to come in and assist you with this deep clearing. It's beautiful how it's lining up this month for us with this solstice energy to really move into a higher perspective. And so it's really about opening the heart, and for all of this, it's about opening the heart. It's about opening the heart and coming into unconditional love for not only yourself, but for others. It's about that compassion and that understanding and bringing it back into perspective. Everything is temporary. What we're going through right now, even this time in history, is just a blip. It's just a blip in the overall cycles within cycles within cycles. And I know many of us say, well, if it's just a blip and it's just one more little piece, why does it really matter? Why have we come in at this time in history? And I just want to remind you once again, we're in a window of about 300 years. That is a grand opportunity to truly shift consciousness at a rapid rate, moving into higher perspectives of understanding in a much shorter time period than what would naturally occur in the evolutionary process. And we are at the beginnings. We're really within that first 100-year mark of this 300-year window. We are really on the first stage of this, the first real hard push if you will. And I say yes, push, because it's taken a lot of effort for us to change our bodies so quickly, our matrix so quickly, to clear so quickly, and to have the fortitude and the courage and the determination that it takes to continue on the path. To know that life is not just superficial. It's not just about what we have in our homes or the job that we have or the money we have in the bank. Although those are all beautiful things and we deserve to have the best. But we know so much more is going on about the enlightenment of the human heart. So take a deep breath and remember this time in cosmic history as we move into the solstice. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, it's the longest day. For those in the southern hemisphere, it's the shortest day. And so those of us in the northern, we're stepping from a very high light back towards the darkness, towards the in-breath. And those in the southern doing just the opposite, coming out of that in-breath to the out-breath, to the light again. And this is all about bringing those things back into balance as we do at the equinoxes, these cycles within cycles, as we go deeper into the human psyche, as we go deeper into the collective matrix of light, as we go deeper into consciousness and our role as masters of light, facilitating deep, unprecedented change for humanity, being the role models, being the forerunners, being the beacons of light that walk in this world in a different way, that stand in our truth and respond to outer stimuli, situations, and experiences from a heightened level of awareness. You truly are great. You truly are a master. Remember that. And know that you are light.